की ऐसी देखी कहाँ, जाने ना रखना कहाँ है यीशुआ, गुरबत तेरी बेपाना, हाँ मेरे यीशुआ, रहमतों का तू ही दरिया, तुझको क्यों मेरी चाहत में ना कुछ और दिखा, मुझको पाने को तू सबसे गया, दीवानगी ऐसी देखी कहाँ, जाने ना रुकना कहाँ यीशुआ.
Hey everybody, good evening, good night, or good morning, depending on where you're watching this. Welcome to another episode of the Faith Next podcast. We're here in season 6, episode 3. We had a good time over the last couple episodes with Lawrence and Joanna, and now we're here for our next one. So this season, as you know, we're talking about one of the greatest storytellers in human history of the world, history of the universe, Jesus Christ himself, and we're tackling some of the stories that he told, which he called parables. Yeah. Today, the last couple episodes, we had Rudel with us as our special co-host. Today we have not Rudel, as you will see, vastly different genders. Somebody else, but is also a member of the Word Loving team. She would have appeared on our most peppery season of season 4, right? We have the great Emerald Frederick with us. All is well, Emerald?
All is well.
Right, very nice. Good answer. And today we have a special guest with us, a gentleman who wears many hats, all at the same time, a lot of times. So stacked hats. But today we're going to take off some of those hats. I don't know which hat you want to wear today. He also serves as my uncle. Serves, that's a great way of putting it. Also serves as my uncle, and first I learned good news, a lot of things at conference, and a general youth leader and youth advocate, Mr. Pastor Gideon St. Bryce. He also was one of our speakers of Faith Next, dealing with salt and light. So he's no stranger to the Word-loving family. So we have some questions for you. So welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
All is
Glad
well?
to be here. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
very
yes.
nice. Good answer as well. I didn't know how to answer questions. But
First time in your Worth Loving studio.
newly minted.
Yeah, glad to be here.
All right. So we have some.
Really invite.
No problem. Anytime. So just our first question, just to get to know you a bit. What's keeping you busy these days?
Oh, that's a many lane highway. Yes. But yes, it's one direction though. So it's basically church work. So at the office, it is chaplaincy, it is prison ministry, and then eldership at the church, as you would have mentioned in the introduction. But then I'm a husband too, so I'm a father.
Lifelong
Yes,
work.
yes. So I have father duties, husband duties, plus ton load of other
duties.
Yes.
Right. So
But it's all fun.
okay. So I mean, we should count it lucky that you found time to be here. Count it lucky, guys.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to contribute. Yeah, just at the front lane of the same highway.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll stop.
Okay.
Ready?
So, well, again, thanks for being here. So this next question is a bit deep in terms of what's a lesson life has taught you, and do you wish that you would have learned it earlier?
All right. Yes. Well, for me, a lesson I think I can identify is that kicking it down the road doesn't make it go away. So procrastination really wouldn't solve your problem. Yeah, if there is something to deal with it. Might be uncomfortable, might be difficult, but if the situation arises now is the best time to deal with it. And yeah, if I learned that earlier, if I appreciated that earlier, I probably would have been further along the road. Yes.
Okay.
Okay,
Some
great.
good advice.
So based on that, is that, I guess the question now is, what's the best advice you've ever received? Would that be regarded as the best advice, or that is just a lesson that you learn?
It's a lesson I learned. Best advice really so relative. It's based on what's happening at the time. The advice becomes relevant to that time, and then that's the best advice.
Fair enough. Fair
You
enough.
know? Yeah.
So
but,
in the last 6 weeks, what's the best advice you've ever
last
received?
6 weeks. I don't have many advisors in the last 6 weeks. Yeah, but ongoing advice that is relevant 6 months ago, 6 weeks ago, and 6 hours ago is the fact that all things may not be religious, but all things are spiritual. So that there isn't really perfectly neutral things in life. Everything affects your devotional outlook and how you relate to God and your responsibilities and relationship with Him.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Okay.
you know, I treat with that. I keep that in mind regardless of what I'm doing
Okay.
or not doing.
To do or not to do? That is the question.
Okay, so we're gonna jump straight into the reason why we're here today. On this episode, we're exploring the prodigal son. And so the first question that comes to mind is, why do people struggle to receive grace?
Yeah, that prodigal son, that's the younger son, had a little struggle to go back home. I think primarily because people expect punishment for wrongdoing. And for you to be told that, it's okay,
Sounds sketchy.
Yeah, it sounds sketchy. It sounds like, you sure? Yeah, so I think there's an expectation of punishment. And when that punishment is not what is being given or projected, there is some reluctance to accept that. Yeah, so, yeah.
Talking about the prodigal story, I guess we should talk through the story. So you prefer to talk it through or read it through?
Well, you the leader, you hosting, so you tell me.
Okay, well, you talk it through.
Okay, well, I don't know how much details you want. Basically, there's this guy that have 2 sons, seem to be wealthy, or at least he has possessions. The younger son comes to him, says, "Daddy, you know what? All that I'm supposed to get when you are dead, give me now." And father obliges. He say, "Yeah, sure, here you are." He divided it to the dismay and of the older son. Younger son goes away. He lives it up, spends all his money. And yes, Galavant, Bacchanal, Tralala, and he is now broke. All his friends have disappeared. He's looking for work. As a Jew, he really desecrates himself because he goes to work treating with pigs. Not only work with pigs, he ate the pig food. And then he says to himself, "What really am I doing here? I mean, my father have servants is better off than me." So he says, "You know what, I'll go home." And he creates a whole speech that he will give the father when he goes home, and make me a servant, I'm not worthy to be your son. And he picks himself out of the sty and decides that he's going home. He's walking home, and his father, who has been on the lookout for him for a long time, sees him coming. Father runs to him, grabs him by the neck, and before he could give his speech, his father is kissing him all over, calls the servant, says, "Hey, bring the fatted calf, put on a sandal on this guy, put on the robe, put on the ring, and let's have a party." And takes him inside, and party starts. Older son, who was in the field working, comes home, hears the noise, and he's, "What's happening here?" And a servant, of course, expecting a kind of jubilant response, "Well, your son, your brother came home, so we're having a fete for him." And the older son was, "What? For the vagabond? No, man." And then he starts to quarrel, and the father comes out to him, and he starts to quarrel with the father. "I home with you all the time. You never give me nothing. And this wayward son come home, and you haven't party for him and so on. And the father says to him, son, your brother was dead and now he's alive, you know. This is a good thing. And then says to him, you know, but all that I have is yours. And the story ends there, interestingly. So I don't know if he went into the party or if he stayed outside. I'm not sure. Interestingly.
Okay. So what parts or scenes in the story that really stand out for you? That you like to... Or the whole story?
Yeah, it's the whole story actually. It's the whole story. I see the younger son that was at the beginning of the story. His disposition is gratification, instant gratification. Give me what I could get, you know. And that's how we treat God sometimes, you know. Could I have, please? Thank you, please. Yes. But when he comes to recognize his situation and his position, his disposition then is, you know, make me what you want to be, what you want me to become, you know, whatever that is. I'm willing to be what you want me to be. So he transitions from give me to make me what you want me to be. And that to me is interesting. Just when we recognize who we are and what we have done and our real position, our real outlook and relationship with the Father is not so much about give me, but about make me.
That's a soaking moment.
Yeah.
So okay. Give me a next one.
Oh,
I got plenty to go.
Yeah, from give me to make me. I also see the level of resentment from the older son. That now you see there is mercy and there is grace, right? So had this younger son come back home and be made a servant or something like that, the older son probably would not mind, you know. You know, that's mercy, you know.
Deserve that.
Yeah.
Because of that. But giving you what you don't deserve is a problem for plenty people. You know? And this older son just felt that, no, this guy, first of all, he took part of my inheritance, basically. You know, he wasted, he comes back, and now he has the party. I mean, the father put the signet ring back on the first son, and when he returned home, that means he was re-established with the same authority before he left.
There was full
as a
restoration.
son. You know, and the older son already was resentful of that grace. And you know, so the story to me is I have to be very mindful of how I think of people who God is giving what they don't deserve. Because I could become resentful. We could become resentful.
So there's a thought I've had thinking about this story, kind of thinking about the father himself. Because there are different variations. Each person is kind of prodigal in the story, right? So prodigal son 1, prodigal 2, prodigal father. And I was wondering how the idea of being a prodigal church or prodigal community where we are almost lavish and reckless in our love and care for other people. And just the idea of
How we should be.
Well, I don't think we are. So should how we should be, and the idea of now this is kind of projecting some ideas into this story, but God knowing the type of response that the father is going to give to the son serves as like a God prompting the son to go back home. And I'm kind of wondering if perhaps one of the reasons why in church or in communities we aren't finding people kind of coming back home is because, you know, if I send them back there, is licks for them. Because the locks already changed. They can't come back home. They had to grovel and prove themselves to be back in. It's like, all right, you probably safer in the pigsty right now than sending you back with that family, because that family not ready to receive you with the kind of love that I wanted. So that's something that I don't know if you have any thoughts on that one.
Well, that's not in the story, but it is in the spirit of prophecy, where we are cautioned that some people are not yet brought to the fold because the fold not ready for them. So that that's why even the scripture says that other sheep that's not of this fold have I. So they're not in the fold, but it's not that they're not sheep. So that is a reality. That's a reality, and of course, our prayer is that reality changes, so that all the sheep could actually come back to the fold, all the prodigals. Yeah, because we are lacking in the prodigal father attitude. Yeah, so there are a lot of prodigal sons, 1 and 2, and because we have a prodigal 2 overflow. When I say prodigal 2, older son prodigal,
right.
we are deficient in the prodigal father's attitude. So the prodigal younger son is still out in his sty.
Yeah.
Lots of worthless son.
Yeah. Because I think a big part of why the younger son returned home, because he had an understanding of the character of his father.
Of the father, yes.
Right. So to your point about people not wanting to return home, they understand who we are. And they know that if they were to return, we wouldn't run to them, right?
Yeah. And one of the reasons I think we could be as we are is because we very suspicious of people returning. Because we start to ask a lot of questions, why they come back now, what they want, those kind of things.
Money done.
Money done. So the motive for returning is a real question people ask. Quite unlike the father who, think about it. The father wasn't sure why that son was coming back home. He just latched on to the one positive that he could find, in that the son is coming towards me, and he ran and embraced that, and he grew that. It didn't matter to him why the son was coming.
So does the motive matter? Should we worry about that as a church when we see people come back?
Well, I what's this guy from Arise? What's his name? David Ashrick. Spoke about celebrating the small gains. So rather than, if we say total transformation is 10, but persons move from 1 to 10. So you're saying, if somebody move from 0 to 1 is a celebration, celebrate that. Don't wait till they reach 10 to celebrate. Don't wait till they reach 10 to celebrate. Every movement towards 10 is something to celebrate, and I think that the father was doing. He couldn't care what his son was coming for. The fact that he was moving towards me, I am going to celebrate that.
Yeah.
I think just to jump on that, I think looking at it, the father's waiting posture of being outside, looking for the son. He wasn't just inside. However, if he come, he go knock, I go no. He was waiting, knowing that. I think that
is an active intention.
Yeah, it's like waiting,
anticipation and hope.
Actively waiting for him to return. Other words, if he come, he come. If he don't come, wherever I go and live my life. Yes. I'm going against. I think I guess that's all characteristics of the father.
Attributes of the father.
Yes, actually actively, because that's something that for me, I don't want to say saddens me, because it makes it sound way too deep, but saddens me in some sense, where you kind of feel as if there's not a active attention to people. So people slip out or slip back in, slip out. Nobody even bats an eyelid because we're not looking to see. Well, we look. There's a lot of looking that takes place.
We observe.
Yeah, we observe. You see how she do it? You see? But it's not like a active, like, let me make sure. If I see them going, let me make sure they don't go. And if I see them coming, I'm excited.
Yeah. Now, there's a different story, but it basically is the story of Eutychus on the window. You know, I mean, here's a young boy sitting on a window ledge on a 3-story building, and he falls asleep and fall off, and Paul and they're talking. There's a big Bible study going on, and a young man sitting on a window ledge, falling to sleep, and nobody notices until he falls. You know, when he falls, suddenly what they were saying not so important, and everybody stopped to go downstairs and help him. No, how much better would it have been if it had stopped talking before, moving from the window ledge, and then thing. So a lot of time our disposition in churches like that, we so busy doing what is important that we're not seeing people sleeping on window ledges, slipping off, and yeah, I wish we will pause to say, hey guy, don't sit down there.
Hey, big boy, just you're tired? Okay, here's a mat, you can sleep
right.
in.
Yeah.
To extend that just a little bit, money story. A lot of times, perhaps our postures was, what, she's sleeping in church. It's important thing going on, he's sleeping there. You go fall out there and you fall again.
Yeah.
What do you think is, in terms of the prodigal story, what do you think is something perhaps that people sometimes misunderstand about or within the story? Or you feel like it's a pretty...
Well,
or misread?
Well, I think I hear it more now, but obviously growing up, what we found was that the prodigal's story, whenever told, was about the prodigal's son, the first son. Yes? Which really, if you read before Jesus, what prompted Jesus to tell that story? And mind you, that was the third parable of lostness in that series, right? But what prompted him to tell those 3 stories, including the prodigal son, was that they were accusing him of eating with sinners. The Pharisees were saying, look at him, eating with sinners, right? So a lot of people miss why the story is being told. The story is being told to say exactly, I eat with sinners. That's it. People are lost, and my whole rationale for being here is to eat with them. I'm looking for sinners. So I'm embracing sinners that come to me. And I think people miss that story because they are concentrating on the guy that misbehaved. When the real emphasis is, I am here for people who misbehave. That's why I'm here. I want to embrace them. I'm going to eat with them. And when they come to me, I'm going to kiss them up and have a party for them.
That's how I am. I heard you speak sometime. Is it you? We'll see. Because you're talking about the 3 lost stories: the coin, the sheep, and the boy. Tell me a little more about. I remember you speaking about how like they represent different
kinds of lostness. Yeah. Basically, well, the lost coin basically was the coin that was lost because they didn't know it was lost. So it took somebody's effort to even treat it in its lostness, because it was just lost, but it was also lost in the house. So it really identified lost in a place where you're supposed to be safe. Yes, but there's a lostness there. So that's the lost coin. Then you have the lost sheep, the sheep that was lost and knew it was lost but couldn't find its way back. So it really needed external resources to find it, to bring it back to its safe position. And then of course you had the lost son, the prodigal son, that was lost but knew he was lost, knew his way back, but was very reluctant to return because he wasn't sure of the response that he will get on going back. So those are 3 different kinds of lostness that we could experience.
Anything, Freddie?
Just in terms of going back to the prodigal son, that's prodigal story, right? No, I think like the focus is most times the younger son. But which character or element do you think gets overlooked the most from that story?
Overlooked the most. Well, within recent times, the older son has been receiving some attention, you know, but I think there are some attributes of the father that is not highlighted that I think deserve some attention, you know, and perhaps it's highlighted more in the Jewish context, because the father, of course, was a elderly man. When I say elderly, a mature male, and in their culture, males running was considered humiliating, undignified, and I think Jesus chose some those kinds of pictures intentionally. Yes, the fact that the son went to eat with pigs and so on. I mean, this is a father humiliating himself, running towards a son that really reached to the lowest level that a Jewish son could go, you know? And it really, to me, pictures Christ coming, dying on Calvary. It was a level of humiliation for Jesus, you know, to leave Godship, to come to be a man, I mean, and then have that undignified death. He was really speaking to the Pharisees who was accusing him of eating with sinners, saying, hey, I am willing to go to any depth to save people who have gone to their lowest. And I think if people grasp that, they will understand that whatever God is asking them to do or not do is embedded in that kind of love, in that kind of passion for us. So he wouldn't ask us to do or abstain from anything that is not in our best interest. And I think people miss that level of love, that capacity of love, that passion that God has for us.
It's really powerful. Do you think that there's, focusing on the father, I was wondering, I don't know if there's any significance, could let me know, but why he didn't have to give the inheritance to the younger son?
Yeah.
What do you think that represents?
Freedom.
Freedom, okay.
Freedom, yeah. God knows, well, you know, there's a parable that says, was it a parable that talks about if you let it go and it comes back to you, then it is yours. You know? Can't remember how that
If you
goes.
love something,
What do you let it go?
Let
Come
it
back to
free
you.
and then it come back to it. Yeah. So basically, I think God knew if he's denying his son the freedom, then he will never get to the point of transforming him.
Okay.
So he allowed him what he was asking and looking for, but always with the intent of, hey, when he catches himself, he'll come back and he will be a transformed person.
You asked the question to him, but something popped in my mind of the servant. And when you were retelling it, I never thought of the servant's exuberance and excitement about the party taking place. I think that's probably perhaps an overlooked character. Like he's like, if the father excited, I excited too, because clearly, and I'm supposing the servant would know the context that it is happening to, and probably also have beliefs that but if the father excited, then
well, to be fair, I'm not sure if the servant was excited, but that's my picture. That is how I pictured it, you know.
as the official would love it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's faithful servants, and I would think that, yeah, even if he's not glad for the son, he's glad for the party.
Yeah.
You know?
A win is a win. Food is food. Food is food.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you say there are any parts of the story that kind of makes you uncomfortable?
Well, at least pensive and thoughtful, if not uncomfortable. And I think I said that when I was relating the story, and that is, what is my real attitude towards the undeserving favor that God is meting out to somebody. So, I apply for a job, somebody apply for a job, and they get it when I think I'm smarter and have been working here longer. Could I rejoice with that person still? Because it's undeserving as far as I'm concerned. Could I rejoice with them?
That job thing is serious in Trinidad, though. That's like that one.
Yeah. You, in church, somebody has been given a position in church. Could I rejoice with them and say, hey, I'm glad for you? I don't know. But whatever it is, whatever sphere of life it is, I have to be very mindful that I am not becoming resentful because somebody's being blessed in a way that I think they are undeserving of. And really and truly, I'm supposed to be able to throw a party for them. Well, at least participate in the party.
At least attend.
That somebody should at least attend, Yeah, so that is...
How's that? Be happy for... To be happy for people, I think, lame boy, that's...
Yeah, because it is undeserved. This is not something that somebody have qualified for, This is a blessing beyond what they deserve. As a matter of fact, they deserve to be rejected.
Exact opposite.
Yeah.
They don't even deserve an interview. You deserve to have an application rejected.
So, it's the thin lines between forgiveness, which we might forgive you, or if you forgive them, fine. Mercy, as I said, you're supposed to get some licks, but okay, we would spare the licks. Yeah? But when you start getting pay for the work you didn't do, what?
And I was working.
That is where we have problems. Grace is where we have problems.
I guess that's the first question was, the first question was asked why people have problems accepting grace. But I guess we also have problems giving grace as well. Yeah, giving. Anything from you, Freddie? I know you're always thinking about something.
No, I was just thinking,
See? You're always thinking about something.
what if those people seem undeserving from our point of view? I mean, there's always so many factors going on behind the scenes, but I think what really stood out, and I think ties in, is that the younger son had the audacity and the boldness to ask. Well, he wasn't asking for it directly, but he knew about that the father was a father that would bestow grace. Whereas from my perspective, the oldest son was at home kind of working and just trying to get the dad's favor, but he didn't have the audacity to ask, hey dad, can you throw a party for me? Or can I have a party with my friends? So sometimes maybe they were bold enough to ask even if they know they don't deserve it, while we are waiting to get to a point where we feel.
Which I think is a key part of the whole story, where the son decide to embrace the grace that is available. That's the younger one. The older one was living life based on the justice principle.
Correct. Yeah.
Get what you deserve. So what he was doing was working to deserve the inheritance that he will get.
Right.
Yes. And waiting until the father died in the here by and by, I will get what I deserve based on my labor that I put on. And a lot of us miss the grace of God because we operate in the justice system.
Correct. Yeah.
And God is saying, that he's telling older son, the father inside, he said, but all that I have is yours. In other words, you can get it now. It's yours.
You actually already have it.
Yeah, you already have it. And we miss what God has for us because we're waiting for the justice system to play out. And so while God is a just God, he's also a God of grace.
Okay. That's a nice one. I like it. I like it a lot. Is there somebody you identify in this story? Or I guess we kind of
I identify with.
yeah, in this story.
Yeah, well, there's
All?
some of us in all of them, you know. There's some of us in all of them. Yeah. So yeah, that's my answer.
That's a good answer. I will take it. I'll allow it. Yeah. I guess aspirationally, we're all striving to be the father in the story. Father, or the, according to Wood Loving, the servant, the excited servant. So as we, I guess, approach the runway or circle the runway to land, so much of our audience is on the younger side on the number line most times. So what would you say, how would you say this parable speaks to them in their lives, in their situations? So youth or young adults?
Yeah, well, I would think basically it speaks to a father that waits to welcome you home. And there is depths of murk that you might have find yourself in, and there are people around who may not quite celebrate a return, but the Father is willing to put on you that signet ring that says you belong to me. So I would say, fear not, return. Return home as far as that journey might be from where you are to where he is, because he's looking for you. He's looking out for you. But he cannot embrace you back until you says to him, or you put yourself in a position for him to embrace you. And really and truly, that is not a physical position. That's a mental position. That is making up your mind, like the son. He thought about it, but then he said to himself, I will arise and go. So say to self, I will arise and go. And then make yourself available to the Father. He will embrace you.
Y'all hear that? Think Gabriel had a question?
Yes, so what do you think this parable, what does it challenge in our culture?
I guess that's both, I suppose, internal church culture and probably wider, I guess, secular or societal culture.
Yeah, well, in church culture, well, I think you spoke to that we tend to be very much like the older brother, where we are suspicious of people that return, and could be a little resentful when God is showing mercy. And we say that exists, not that is everybody, but that exists, and it's something that we have to work on intentionally. In society, well, society is dog eat dog, you know. We have two extremes in society where if you do the wrong, if you do the crime, then do the time, and then the other is que sera sera. Everybody's have their own way, so live how you want. Yes? So society is really suffers from schizophrenia. So it goes all different ways, you know, and which is a confusing thing. And in church, we sometimes could be a little tough on returners. So I think this story challenges both things. Yeah, there is an inheritance to have, and there's a father who's willing to give it. But the only place we will get it is from the Father. So we have to be in his presence. Yes, the resentfulness that could be well, not evident, but is demonstrated in the story, is also something that we have to be mindful of in our culture. That really and truly, this younger son on return, the father met him on the outside and invited him in. And the older son, the father went out to meet him. We are both outside, eh? The first son and the second son are both outside. And the only way we get in is at the invitation of the father. And whether we go in or not is whether we accept the invitation of the father. The younger son, in his dirty state, accepted and went in. The story doesn't say what the older son did at the invitation. We have to change the mindset of thinking that we will get in because of what we did. We will get in because the Father invites us in.
Well said.
I like that. That's a cool landing spot. Seemed like that plane taxis into the but is there anything that we probably didn't cover in the story that you had swirling around in your mind, or you feel like?
No, I think we have covered it. You will ask a lot of questions.
Fully exhaust.
Yeah. Well, I mean, scripted never fully exhaust. Yes, but there is nothing that comes to mind immediately that I think you all missed in terms of the questioning and in the sharing. Yeah, so.
Okay, so as we, all right, seatbelt lighter off. Is there one final thing that you would probably want to leave with everybody at the end of this episode?
Yeah, well, I want to re-underscore the fact that there is no right way to do something wrong. So the son's position was a ill-thought position, but doing something wrong does not exclude you from sonship or daughtership. Just make up your mind that I'm going back to the Father. That's my underscore. Wherever you are, get up and go back.
Thank you, passengers, for flying. So, wrap us up with a prayer now.
Oh, sure. Yes, I can do that. Let's pray. Our Father, we just thank you for your availability. We thank you for your passion that is exhibited in love, and you're looking out for us. We thank you for the fact that you are willing to kiss us even in our dirty state. You are willing to reinstate us regardless of where we have been. We thank you that our past may be demonstrated as to where we have been, but because of your grace, it doesn't determine where our destiny will be. So just fill us with appreciation of who you are, and then cause us to respond to that love, find ourselves returning to you and being embraced by you. And where we have been resentful for those who have experienced your grace, forgive us. And cause us to be among those that will create an environment where all will feel free to return, because they can anticipate and expect a Father's embrace. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen and amen.
Amen. Thank you so very much for joining us on this episode of the Faith Next podcast. Thank you, Freddie, for your expert insight. Thank you guys for watching, and remember to like, remember to share, remember to subscribe, and see you on our next episode next week. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
यीशुआ गुरबत तेरी बेपाना हाँ मेरे यीशुआ रहमतों का तू ही मुझको पाने को तू सबसे गया, दीवानगी ऐसी देखी कहाँ, जाने ना रुकना कहाँ ओ यीशुआ। है यीशुआ, गुरबत तेरी बेपना, हाँ मेरे यीशुआ, रहमतों का तू ही दरिया, हाँ तुझको क्यों मेरी चाहत में ना कुछ और दिखा, मुझको पाने को तू सबसे